know we're starting a little bit early. I want to thank everybody for being here today. I hope everybody had a good time at the party last night. We're very excited to be part of World Hosting Days. In Germany, we announced the launch of Weebly Cloud for hosts at World Hosting Days Germany. And this is the first time that Weebly, typically a retail organization, has opened up our platform to allow telcos, web hosts, domain registrars to resell our core website creator tools. And so as of today, as a quick update for everybody since Germany, we have about 50-plus partners enrolled in the program today. Today, though, what we want to speak to everybody about are the trends that we're seeing in the website creator space, with a particular focus on mobile. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Some background on Weebly. Weebly was founded by our three co-founders in 2007. And at that time, in their opinion, it was still very difficult to create a website. To fast forward today, 2015, Weebly has 30 million active users on the platform. Each month, we generate 250 million unique page views. Globally, we generate 800 million views. And finally, 33% of our traffic beginning this year is now being driven from a mobile device. At our core, Weebly is focused on making website creation very, very easy, because we believe that the opportunity in the offline market is gigantic.
Just a little bit of context on the traffic from mobile. So 33% over the last 12 months. 12 months prior, it was around 18%. 12 months before that, it was around 8%. So we're actually seeing an acceleration of the rate of growth of the number of people who are visiting a Weebly-powered website on a mobile device. And that's pretty consistent globally. And outside the US, it's even bigger. So, I think we're still pretty desktop heavy here compared to sort of the rest of the world, which is massive. I mean, that's a huge, huge number.
Yeah. One other stat we didn't provide in Germany that we wanted to share with this group is every second on our network of sites, we now see a publishing event. And publishing event can be defined in two ways: a brand new website going live, or someone editing their website and publishing that change to the internet. This is very, very important to Weebly. Engagement in websites today is at its greatest activity that we've ever seen. Consumers today, when they press publish and they push that site live, there is heavy, heavy engagement from them. This is great news for everybody in this room, and this is why we want to partner with web hosts, because when you have user engagement at the rate of, like we're seeing now, 1 second an event, every second an event happening across our network, this is great for upsells. This is great for renewals, because people are more engaged and more sticky.
Yeah, and so to talk about that, the other thing we'll get to is where are these events happening? So while we don't share the exact number, a big chunk of the events are people updating a blog from a Weebly iPhone app, people building a new website on the iPad app, people getting notifications about an e-commerce sale on the new iWatch app that we built, and they're taking an action and shipping an item. So I think what's interesting is this is not people sitting in front of a computer at 8 o'clock at night and updating their websites. I mean, that's still a big chunk, but I think most of the growth is coming from the fact that people want to run their business or manage their blog or write about something they're passionate about when it's good for them. I saw somebody on the train on the Long Island Railroad 2 weeks ago updating a Weebly blog on an iPhone app. I knew the person, so it wasn't that random, but and that's the kind of stuff we're talking about here. And every single one of those events means more engaged users. It means people who are much more likely to be successful. And if they're more likely to be successful, they're much more likely to sort of attach a level of confidence in the brand they're using, whether they're buying directly from us or whether they're buying us through you guys. So, anyway.
Thank you. Okay, so 30 million users. Who are these people? Who are these consumers building websites today? I want to share with you how we segment customers at Weebly. At a very high level, we bucketize these customers in 4 main groups. The personal user. This is the free guy. He just wants a couple pages. He's trying to get some information online. This is the customer that is going to go for that free package that we're all offering. This is a big segment for Weebly. They want to get some basic information on there. They want to post some quick content. And effectively what they're doing with you is they're kicking the tires of Weebly, and they're just trying to service out with no risk. Big segment of growth for us. Bucket number 2, the business customer. This customer is not a store. This is not SMBs. This customer is like a freelancer. This is a guy who is selling his marketing experience or his marketing services. This guy's paying for Weebly. He's typically at our $5 a month package. Why? Because he's promoting his brand. And in Germany, we showed an example of a marketing consultant promoting herself on Weebly. This, again, is another big segment of growth for Weebly, this independent freelancer. I'm investing in myself, and because I'm investing in myself, $5 a month is okay. Number 3, blog. Obviously, everybody in this room knows about blogs. But the 2 things we just want to share with you is blogging remains one of the number 1 reasons people even investigate Weebly for a website. Blogging is also, we see a higher migration towards our Pro package, where we see people have an idea, they want to build an audience, they want to share that, and as they build that audience, paying for that becomes more important. Going from free to paid is not a big deal for them. It's not a big leap. So blogging, another major driver of growth in websites today. And then finally, the SMB, which we refer to at Weebly as store. These guys have a product. They need a merchant payment gateway. They need customer service. They need all the things that all of us in this room are familiar with SMBs. This is probably where we have the greatest overlap with everybody in this room. Yet, for us, the bigger opportunity that we want to share with everybody is that the growth in personal business and blog is very significant for us, and for e-commerce, still very important. It's the top of the stack for us. It's a $30 a month package, and obviously with these customers, they pay that. They're looking for all the solutions related to e-commerce. So personal, business, blog, SMBs, the top 4 categories of the customers we're onboarding every month today.
Yes, the comment I'd make about this is that if you look at these guys, not one of them is technical.
Yeah.
Not one of them is likely, without significant help, to be able to build a site. Even WordPress. These guys want to get started. The feedback we get is, it should be this easy. It should be as easy as entering an email and getting started. And whether I end up spending $0 or $4 or $10 or $30, I should be able to move quickly and not be hindered by having to pay somebody $1,000 to help build me a website. And that's the opportunity for you guys here, whether you work with us or whether you work with some of the other guys in our space. What we're all doing is making it easier for these guys to get live and not require help. And it's a massive, massive market across many of sort of every vertical you could potentially think of.
Yeah. So the other thing we do at Weebly is we invest a lot of money in research. And what I want to share with you is a survey we did in 2014 across consumers, 2 types. Those consumers that are offline. Why are you offline? Why haven't you built a website? We'll discuss the results here shortly. And then the second group. I'm online. I have a website. What are the challenges you're having with your website today? So I just want to share some quick stats with you on that market. Okay. So first question we asked, do you trust a business that does not have a website? 56% of people said no. This is very important to us. We're always interested in people's perspective and how much value they assign to a website, especially since we're now in the e-commerce business and we offer e-commerce solutions. So 56% of people, 2014, tell us that they don't trust a business that doesn't have a full-blown website, not a directory listing, an actual full-blown website with an actual domain name that they can look at. Second thing that's very important to us is the impact of social networking. Is Twitter, is Facebook, is Tumblr a replacement for websites? Very, very interesting for us to understand this. 98% of people tell us that Facebook is not a replacement for a website. It is complementary, but is not a substitute. And then finally, we said, if you have an idea, you're not online currently, but if you were to take that first step with your idea or your entrepreneurial project or whatever that next step is for you, what are the key things you need to be successful? 58% told us having a website would be critical for that entrepreneurial idea, that next project I'm working with. Other things, business class email. Another thing, personal domain names. Not as surprising to all of us, but again, we want to put real numbers around consumers' attitudes towards these 3 offline factors.
That's good.
Okay. Let's go a little bit deeper. So now we said we appreciate that. Why, if you could go online today, would you do it? Do you feel you can do it? 75% of people told us, no. I feel like I have to hire somebody and pay them $1,000 to build my website. 75% of the survey respondents told us, no, we can't build a website. Now, this has 2 impacts on Weebly. One, it tells us that clearly we are not doing enough to raise the visibility of do-it-yourself tools, thus opening Weebly Cloud for Hosts, thus our desire to partner with as many web hosts as possible to get this education out there that do-it-yourself is possible. And number 2, it tells us, though, that the opportunity is still huge in this marketplace, that 75% of people are offline today because they're not aware of the DIY solutions that all of us are selling to make it easy for them to come online.
Yes, so this is the slide that basically shows that everybody in this room, including us, sucks at our job. It really does, because, and this is true, there are a lot of really great site builders who are here, and you should talk to all of them, and you should find out sort of what they think, because at the end of the day, whether you work with us or whether you work with some of our competitors, you should be working with one of us, because at the end of the day, the fact that 75% of people still think they can't do it, with every solution that's out there, I mean, there are a dozen people in this room, there are dozens elsewhere. It just speaks to the opportunity. So while people think about market share, frankly, that's an asinine thing to be thinking about when 75% of the population has no idea that they think that they're capable. And the sort of, we've jumped far enough ahead that there's no reason someone can't do it. So this is the one number you guys need to remember. Whether you work with us or anyone else, or any other tools you're thinking about, offering. This is not just about site building.
Yeah.
People are intimidated, and they shouldn't be. And so everybody in this room has an opportunity to make a lot of money and make a lot of people very happy and very successful by focusing on how they can, in their own world, help reduce this number.
Yeah. Okay, so just rounding out the stats here real quick. So we go a little bit deeper last year. So then we look at the 30 million customers on Weebly, and we say to them, prior to joining Weebly, prior to building your website at Weebly, did you have a website? 50% said no. 50% of the people coming onto Weebly do not have a website. And what's really interesting to us at Weebly is that we're not interested, what we're absolutely not interested in is stealing market share and trying to move people from different platforms. What we're actually very spiritually focused on is the net new incremental customers that we can bring online. That's our laser focus, and this is, again, why we want to partner with resellers, because we feel that this market is so big that the only way to, and it has so many hurdles right now, the fact that 75% still think they can't do it, but 50% coming on board and don't have a website just reinforces how big the opportunity is for us. Okay. So let's keep going. I'm hitting the button here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so let's switch gears. Then last year, 2014, we surveyed people that have a website. And at Weebly, we're very interested in, if you have a website, what are the challenges you're having today with that website? Because let's face it, none of us are immune to churn. And so this is a big thing we're super interested in. Why are people abandoning? Why are people walking away, right? So 2 quick stats for everybody in the room. People that are leaving, we start asking them, what's the problem? What happened? You know, intuitive tools, super easy onboarding process. 50% of consumers, by the way, this is non-SMBs, 50% of consumers told us, you know what? I didn't have a plan when I launched my website. This is absolutely fascinating to us. They didn't have a plan. So we got them on board. They kind of dragged and dropped a few elements. But what we realize now is that we have to kind of feed in some sort of consulting or coaching to these users. And how do we do that? How do any of us do that? We take advantage of their calls and customer service now. How can we help you? What are you trying to do? Maybe a blog is better for you. You know, maybe this theme's better for you, right? Coaching, advising them on what's going on, right? So this is a big deal to us. Helping people onboard and telling them things like, through our email campaigns, and all of us do this in our own business, we'll email them and say, did you know yesterday you got 200 visitors to your site? By the way, there's no upsell here. So it's like, congratulations, you got 200 visitors to your site. If you want to learn more about how you can grow that, let us know. These are just simple ideas we're throwing out there, how we're trying to advise and coach people, because this is actually a big deal to us, that 50% of consumers come on board, and then they say they don't have a plan and they need guidance. Final category, businesses, SMBs, people that are actually selling products. What are the major issues you guys are having? 20% of SMBs told Weebly that they are concerned that their provider is not keeping up with technology. And in this case, we're the provider. So this is a big deal to us. We want to make sure, and what is that? What is technology? Technology can mean a lot of things. But primarily, the overriding technology they're referring to is mobile.
Yeah, so on this one here, I think the thing that's important is this is relevant whether you're a website builder, whether you are a host, whether you're offering any kind of solution out there, which is you need to figure out mobile. You need to figure out why, you know, what is the difference between what an iPhone app that you build should be able to do versus the Apple iWatch versus an iPad versus a desktop versus, you know, sort of any other touch point, right? What does it mean? How are your users using your control panel? What is most important? What's the right context? Yeah. These are really hard questions, and the problem with this stuff is it's really hard to find a good ROI. You know, Weebly probably has 20 developers working on mobile, and good luck trying to find a line item at Weebly that says, here's how much revenue we got from building an iPad app that took 6 months and has a bunch of very cool patents. But that's the kind of stuff you've got to be thinking about. That's the kind of stuff you've got to be forcing your providers to be thinking about. If you are buying something from someone else that you are reselling to your customers, you better be all over them to make sure that they figure out how to make your customers successful sort of in this new environment. And mobile's an easy one to pick, but there are things like collaboration. How do things work with the other tools that I have as a business? Yeah. So really, really important.
Great. Let's switch gears to mobile, because what we want to leave you with today is our strategic thinking around working with the web hosting community and at Weebly about really addressing what we're seeing, obviously, at the beginning of this presentation with 33% of our traffic coming from mobile. What we're seeing is a major shift in our business. So mobile to us is something we do a lot of research on. And again, let's start this discussion with some quick stats. 2 weeks ago, Pew Research released some stats about mobile usage in North America. 4 things. Number 1, nearly 2/3 of Americans own a smartphone. 2/3 of Americans own a smartphone. Number 2, 1/3 of Americans now go online primarily on a smartphone. And number 3, 10% of Americans use a smartphone as their sole internet gateway. 10%. And then finally, there are more mobile devices on Earth than people. Mobile research, mobile investment, our investment in research on mobile is significant. It's a big driver of our business. Historically, Weebly has always said since 2007, we are a single product company. But last year we changed that. We are no longer a single product company. We are a website builder company for desktop, and now our second product, as Nick alluded to, with a separate team, a separate set of engineers for iOS and Android, we are now a 2-product company. That second product is mobile. Why? Because mobile is where the growth is. Mobile is where the consumers are. Mobile is where the usage is coming from. So I just want to outline, in the few minutes we have left here, I want to outline the 3 major things we are doing at Weebly, and then the 3 major things we're going to pass down to our channel, our reseller channel at Weebly. Number 1, when themes first came out and website creator companies were coming out, in 2007, having responsive themes was like a feature. It was like, oh yeah, you know, these can also be responsive. It's like a nice to have. Fast forward to today, every theme at Weebly is responsive. Every theme is mobile ready. That kind of goes without saying in this day and age. But more importantly, what we've discovered through our research is that under no circumstances whatsoever, should Weebly ever be passing any labor down to the consumer to make their site mobile ready. You must deliver today. Weebly is committed today to delivering fully responsive, mobile ready themes. And themes are important. Why? Because they're the bones of the website. They're what makes a website look stunning. They're what makes a website look beautiful. And these are important to consumers. Okay. So mobile ready is no longer a nice to have, it's par for the course. Number 2, if you're going to have a mobile strategy today, and you're serious about the website creator business as a serious tool to aggregate customers and keep them on board long-term and upsell to them, you need to have an app strategy. So at Weebly, what have we done? We've built an iPhone app. We have an iPad app. We have an Android phone app, and then when we were in Germany in March, we announced the introduction of our Android tablet app. Earlier in this conversation, we said that 20% of the e-commerce customers on Weebly are concerned that they are falling behind technology. And what they mean is they want to be able to manage their site on this robust portfolio of mobile apps and build sites. And with 33% of traffic moving to mobile and SMBs being concerned about where they're going to manage their site, the other thing we're going to do is make sure we're on the Apple Watch. And so we did. Because when you're on the Apple Watch, you're directly addressing this concern with SMBs. You're reminding them that Weebly is taking the lead and making sure that your business is on every device. And this is an actual snapshot of Weebly on the Apple Watch, where we signal to SMB customers every time a sale is done. Their watch vibrates. Later this year, we are going to extend access to all of these apps to our resellers, because we genuinely believe this is where our consumers are going, and we genuinely believe that for the hosts that take advantage of these five apps, it is a major competitive advantage to be able to confidently tell your SMB customers or your personal users or your bloggers that your business works on the Android, iOS, and devices like Apple Watch.
So this one here is an interesting one, because when I first heard we were building it, I thought it was a stupid idea. because I just didn't get the context. But what's interesting, it's been a week and a half, I think, since it went out. And we're getting people who are writing in, who are using it, writing into the Weebly blog and basically saying, it's awesome. I run a retail store. I don't even have time to pull out my watch. I update my products, taking a picture of a product and adding it to my e-commerce store. But I'm busy. I'm working 9 to 5. I don't have time for any of this stuff. So when I get a buzz that says I sold something and I can literally tell one of my workers to wrap it up and ship it, that's huge. So you sort of look at this little thing, and obviously you're never going to be able to build a website on an iWatch. That's silly. But again, it's context, right? This little screen buzzes somebody and says you've got a sale, and they can take an action immediately. So that's huge. It's small, but it's huge. And so that's the important thing to sort of think through with all of these new technologies is they may seem insignificant. They may not make 100% sense when you're sort of used to desktops, but there are little things here and there that matter as you sort of think about these devices that make a tremendous impact on what consumers think of your product. So,
Final point number 3 in apps and our mobile strategy. I'm hoping this works. Okay, good. What is important to realize what's happening out there today is that this is an example of Weebly on the iPad. This is a store. He's making on-the-fly change to his product offering. There is no degradation in service today between the desktop experience and these apps. There might be some limited functionality, but the reality is that the reason these apps are successful and the reason so many more consumers are migrating to them is because the same intuitive features, the same easy drag and drop in the web editor that started our desktop experience works on the iPad. It's a great experience, and it's easy. And it does enable you to make changes quickly. And it does enable you to publish to the internet and publish that change to your website right away. This sounds obvious, but it's actually a very big deal to Weebly. And it's a big deal to us when we think about our resellers. Giving them access to these apps is not victory. Giving them access to these apps and their customers use it, and they're able to successfully update their blog, post a new picture, take a picture of a product, and upload it to their store, and it all works on the iPad, and it all works on the iPhone, and eventually on the watch, and wherever the heck else is going to come out, is a huge, huge deal to us. And it's, for us too, it's a huge deal for those resellers on our platform too. It's a huge deal that we have this sort of great, seamless experience on mobile. So to sum up mobile, 3 quick things, so I know we're running out of time. Responsive is par for the course. It's no longer a feature. Your consumers expect it. It needs to work. The editor needs to look great on the iPad like it does here. Things just need to be mobile ready. It's no longer acceptable. It's no longer acceptable to not be mobile ready. Number 2, you need to have access on Android and iPhone or iOS. You just have to have access. That's where people are building sites. That's where people are looking actually for domains and other services today. You need to be on those devices. And then thirdly, you can have confidence in these devices. These devices are evolving so fast that overall, the final comment on mobile is that each future chat we give, we'll be sharing more stats about this migration away from the desktop that we're seeing. And this is the part that is the reason we're doubling down on mobile. There is absolutely occurring a migration away from desktop, and it is all happening here.
The last thing I sort of want to say is go talk to the other site builders in this building and talk to us. This is really hard to do. It's really hard to make it easy. It looks easy, it's all pretty and stuff. There's some hardcore engineering, a lot of people working on it. A lot of our competitors are working on this sort of stuff. If you're not talking to the people in this space, the site builder space, and every single company is doing amazing things, so full credit to everybody else, but this stuff's really hard. A lot of people are working really, really long hours trying to figure it out and make it seamless and make it easy and make it trivial and make people who use these things walk away saying, holy crap, that was way easier than I thought. So I encourage everybody to sort of spend their time learning because I think all of the guys in this space have a unique take on it and are working really hard trying to figure it out. So take the time to have a chat.
Yeah. So just the last point we'll just leave you with, I want to thank everybody again for making time to listen to our presentation. What we're very focused on here, ultimately, is that when we look at the opportunity for growth in this market, the fact that there's so many consumers that are offline today because they don't know the availability of the DIY solutions that we all sell. And I would tell you that our focus, again, is not on stealing market share. We see so much opportunity outside of the SMB space, quite frankly, in that personal, that business, and that blogging segment, that I think that's great news for all of us, that this is not trying to steal other customers. This is about bringing these offline customers online. So I want to thank you again for your time today. I appreciate everybody spending some time to listen through our stats. Thank you very much.